Supreme Court voided impeachment probe of Philippine VP Sara Duterte. Political update. Imagine a political landscape where one wrong move could spell the end of a career. But here's where it gets controversial. Philippine Vice President Sara Duterte has just dodged a bullet as the Supreme Court declared her impeachment proceedings unconstitutional. This ruling not only clears her name legally, but could significantly bolster her ambitions for the 2028 presidential race, a position currently out of reach for President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. due to term limits. Duterte faced 3 separate impeachment charges, all centered around accusations of misconduct and the improper use of millions of dollars in government funds during her tenure as Education Secretary. These allegations were so serious that they led to her impeachment by the lower house of Congress in February. The charges went even further, suggesting that she had threatened the lives of President Marcos, his wife, and the House Speaker, adding another layer of complexity to the political drama unfolding in the Philippines. The Supreme Court's decision did not exonerate Duterte of the specific charges. Rather, they found the process through which she was impeached to be flawed and therefore invalid. This outcome could be seen as a major victory for her, potentially positioning her as a formidable candidate for the upcoming election. However, some may argue that this decision undermines the integrity of the impeachment process and sets a precedent for future political maneuvering. Duterte's political journey is deeply intertwined with her father, Rodrigo Duterte, the former president who served from 2016 to 2022. Rodrigo Duterte is currently in custody of the International Criminal Court, ICC, in The Hague, Netherlands, facing charges of crimes against humanity related to his administration's harsh anti-drug campaign, which resulted in the deaths of thousands. Despite these allegations, he maintains his innocence. This case raises important questions about the balance between political accountability and the potential for political interference in legal processes. As the 2028 election approaches, how will this decision impact public perception of Sara Duterte and her ability to lead the country? Will it solidify her position as a frontrunner, or will it open up new avenues of scrutiny and opposition? What do you think? Should the impeachment process be allowed to proceed regardless of constitutional concerns? Or does this decision set a dangerous precedent for future political challenges? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Sara Duterte impeachment showdown. Senate defies Supreme Court ruling. Philippines. A bold move by the Senate. Will the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte proceed despite a Supreme Court ruling? The Senate has sparked controversy by declaring its intention to continue with the impeachment court proceedings against Vice President Duterte, even after the Supreme Court's decision to deem the 4th impeachment complaint as unconstitutional. This decision has divided opinions and raised questions about the independence of the impeachment court. Senator Joel Villanueva, in an interview, explained that the impeachment court is unique and operates independently, a concept known as sui generis in legal terms. He likened it to the impeachment proceedings of former Chief Justice Renato Corona, where the Senate ignored a temporary restraining order issued by the Supreme Court. Villanueva emphasized that the impeachment court's decision takes precedence. But here's where it gets controversial. Senator Vicente Soto III, while acknowledging the advice of a legal luminary to disregard the Supreme Court's decision, stated that he would rather hear the House of Representatives' perspective as a member of the impeachment court. He later clarified that he respects the judicial wisdom of the Supreme Court, despite considering their decision unexpected. Senator Soto noted a significant shift in the Supreme Court's approach, saying, "There was a time when the court did not touch a political question. This is a complete climate change." He added that he is seeking advice from legal experts to determine the Senate impeachment court's next steps. Senator Bam Aquino expressed his belief that the impeachment trial must proceed, calling for a caucus to discuss the Supreme Court's decision and the Senate's constitutional role. He emphasized the importance of respecting the Senate's co-equal status and its constitutional mandate. Senator Rita Hontiveros raised concerns about the Supreme Court's decision, which cited a violation of the 1-year bar rule on impeachment complaints. She pointed out that the rule refers to the element of time, not the number of complaints, and expressed hope that this new ruling would not hinder future efforts to hold public officials accountable. However, not all senators agree. Some, particularly those allied with the vice president, have called for respect for the Supreme Court's decision and a return to focus on serving the people. Senator Imee Marcos urged her colleagues to resume working, while Senator Ronald De La Rosa welcomed the decision, attributing it to the guidance of the Holy Spirit. Senate President pro tempore Jinggoy Estrada also supported the decision, emphasizing the importance of legality and due process in holding public officials accountable. He added that the Senate, as a co-equal branch, must adhere to established procedures, even in political processes like impeachment proceedings. The debate continues, with some senators determined to proceed with the impeachment trial, and others advocating for respect for the Supreme Court's ruling. The outcome of this controversy will have significant implications for the Philippine political landscape and the balance of power between the legislative and judicial branches. Philippine Supreme Court dismisses impeachment complaint against VP Sara Duterte. Imagine this. A high-ranking official facing serious allegations suddenly has the impeachment complaint against them tossed out by the highest court in the land. This isn't a plot twist from a political drama. It's the reality for Philippine Vice President Sara Duterte. But here's where it gets controversial. The Supreme Court's decision has sparked a flurry of reactions, with some hailing it as a victory for the rule of law and others questioning the timing and implications. Let's dive in and explore the details. On July 25, 2025, the Supreme Court of the Philippines delivered a significant verdict, striking down an impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte. The court ruled that the complaint was unconstitutional, dealing a major blow to the opposition's efforts to remove her from office. But this is the part most people miss. The ruling doesn't mean Duterte is off the hook entirely. It simply means the impeachment process was flawed. The lower house of Congress had impeached Duterte in February, accusing her of a litany of serious charges. These included misusing public funds, amassing unusual wealth, and even threatening to assassinate President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., the First Lady, and the House Speaker. These are heavy allegations, and if proven, could have severe consequences for Duterte's political career. But here's the kicker. Duterte has consistently maintained that the impeachment was politically motivated, a move by her opponents to derail her political ambitions. The Supreme Court's decision was unanimous, and it centered around a key constitutional safeguard. The court agreed with Duterte's lawyers that Congress had violated the rule against more than one impeachment proceeding against the same official within a year. This is a crucial point because it highlights the delicate balance between accountability and political maneuvering. More than 200 members of the lower house had endorsed the fourth impeachment complaint to the Senate, but the court ruled that the previous three complaints had already triggered the one-year ban. The articles of impeachment, which was the fourth complaint, violated the one-year period ban because there were three complaints that came ahead of it. Supreme Court spokesperson Camille Ting explained during a media briefing. This technicality might seem like a minor detail, but it has significant implications. The Senate, therefore, did not have the authority to convene an impeachment tribunal, effectively ending the proceedings against Duterte. President Marcos, who has had a tumultuous relationship with his vice president, distanced himself from the proceedings. His office released a statement on Friday saying that the court's decision must be respected. The Senate also expressed its duty-bound respect for the court's ruling, but the lower house had a different take. A spokesperson for the lower house acknowledged the court's decision, but emphasized that their constitutional duty to uphold truth and accountability does not end here. This sets the stage for a potential future complaint once the ban expires. Duterte's lawyers, meanwhile, were jubilant. This unanimous decision has once again upheld the rule of law and reinforced the constitutional limits against abuse of the impeachment process, they stated. And here's the twist. Duterte is the daughter of former President Rodrigo Duterte, who is currently in the custody of the International Criminal Court over his controversial war on drugs. This familial connection adds another layer of complexity to the political landscape. So, what does this all mean for Duterte's future? She is widely seen as a strong contender for the 2028 presidency, a position Marcos cannot contest due to the single-term limit for Philippine presidents. An impeachment trial conviction would have seen her banned from office for life, but with this ruling, her political ambitions remain very much alive. But here's the million-dollar question. Is this ruling a victory for the rule of law, or is it a political maneuver to protect a powerful figure? The debate is far from over, and the court's decision has only added fuel to the fire. As we wrap up, let's not forget the broader implications. This case highlights the delicate balance between accountability and political maneuvering. It raises questions about the integrity of the impeachment process and the role of the Supreme Court in upholding constitutional safeguards. But here's the real question. Do you think the Supreme Court made the right call, or was this a politically motivated decision? The floor is yours. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going.